Hey everyone, I am the Chosen One Legend here, as always joined by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Kai, also known as Fascorine.
And welcome back to our podcast, BunchaJokahs, where we talk all Nintendo news from the past month. But we're not alone today, because we are once again joined by a special guest and a good friend of ours. Would you like to introduce yourself, special guest?
I am Karl, also known as Wax Miles.
Well, yes, it's been a long time coming. Mr. KJ himself is here. How are you doing, Karl?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty nice. You, Kai?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Looking forward to the news we got this month, because we got quite a bit, didn't we?
We did actually, yeah. There's been a few things happening, from Nindy Worlds to Pokemon to Gamescom, which, well, that was something. We'll get to that later. There's been some interesting stories for sure, on top of all the games that we've been playing, so we should have a good show ahead of us, if you guys are ready to get started.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's go.
We essentially this month got every form of Nintendo Direct that isn't exactly a Nintendo Direct, if you think about it. Like, we got a Nindies and a Pokemon Direct and a rip-off Gamescom, fire.
We're just missing the partner presents from last year. Never forget them.
Yeah, that's all we needed to finish it all off.
Just needed more John Cena games. That's all we wanted, but could go on. But besides that, let's get back to the news and start things off with our first segment of the podcast, About News Baby, where it's self-explanatory. We talk the news, and although a little different for our first story because we don't usually cover rumours here. We sort of just tend to stick with things that are announced, but given that we are well known for being a Xenoblade focused channel, we do have to mention that there have been some Xenoblade 3 rumours surfacing about. There were some rumours about story specifics. We're not going to go into any of that here. We're just going to talk the general idea that people think that Xenoblade 3 might be coming next year. In fact, just the last few days it sort of popped up, people saying that it could be announced in a direct within the next week or so. I think we're all a bit skeptical, but guys, what do you think?
Well, even if you take away the prospect of leaks, like just thinking about it logically, it would make sense if they were to announce Xenoblade sometime like this year or next year. You know, it's a fairly big series now, so it makes sense if they do that. So the leak saying the leak saying like, oh, that's gonna happen. This leak shows that it's gonna happen. It's like, I don't know. I don't feel like that's too reliable. As for like the actual leaks themselves, I was very against them at first. I was like, they're just taking interviews and random articles out of context, and people are overcomplicating them to make it seem like there's something there. Now we have a little more evidence, so I'm now thinking unrelated, but I think this could actually be a thing now, but I'm still not entirely sure.
What are your thoughts, Karl?
Yeah, I do think it's interesting how we have the composer for Xenoblade working with Anuna like he did for Xenoblade 2, and we've had all the Jenna Coleman rumours from that, which I'm not going to take too seriously because she hasn't. I don't think she's played Xenoblade 1. I'm pretty sure she hasn't.
She seems quite confused. Yeah.
Yeah. She seems very confused and not. I wouldn't rely on that too much. It just doesn't feel like good evidence.
Yeah,
Phoenix Wright would throw that right out.
I think people seem to forget that a lot of voice actors aren't necessarily fans of their series. You know, sometimes they are. Like we interviewed, of course, Sean Chiplock, who loved the Zelda series, but a lot of them aren't familiar with the intricacies. So if you ask them questions about the rest of the series and the future of the series, things get mixed up. So I don't put much stock in the Jenna Coleman interview thing. I agree.
Yeah.
But like Kai said, it's been 5 years. There's some, and like you said, Karl, the choir group who did work on Xenoblade 2 working with Mitsuda again. There's some signs that it very much could be next year, whether it's related to the rumours or not. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess. I almost wondered because I sort of expected that Monolith Soft's other project they've been working on would come out first.
Yeah.
Which we saw a concept art for ages ago, but who knows, it could be Xenoblade time. It's more successful than ever.
Yeah, it makes sense for them to carry it on, and yeah, I think the Jenna One rumours are just they're cap. That's I don't know. I'm not a fan of that. And then all the articles that came from that, where it's like, yeah, this is happening. My sources just trust me, bro. Like, that's not. Yeah, I'm not with that. But in terms of like the Anuna stuff, and also there was something to do with like the Monolith Soft website going down the other day.
This
like
week,
people were mentioning, yeah, it's scheduled. So there could be something there. I wouldn't say for sure, but because it could just be like more promotional stuff that they just like to do, like the artwork we got the other day, for example. I think we'll definitely see Xenoblade 3 or X2 or something like that soon. But yeah, as you say, regardless of whether it's going to be related to the leaks or not, we're not sure.
We'll have to wait and see. And of course, if there is a direct in the next week or so, Kai and I, of course, will be reacting to it and squealing intensely if Xenoblade 3 is announced, I'm sure. Yeah. Because who wouldn't be? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see for that. Oh, sorry, what was that, Karl?
I got shivers down my spine when Xenoblade DE got announced. you had just heard the first two notes and it was just like, ugh. Feel free to edit that noise out, Matt.
I was like, that's Machina Falls. That's Machina Falls.
That was exactly it. Oh god, it was something special. So any Xenoblade news of any sort would be hype. But off of rumours now, and we're going on to some confirmed news. And for our next piece here, we found out through Twitter, because apparently people like announcing things on Twitter nowadays, that Idris Elba is playing Knuckles in Sonic 2, the next Sonic movie coming out next year, I believe. And you may recognise Idris Elba. He's, of course, a very famous actor. He was in the 4 movies as Heimdall. He's been in The Office. He's been in loads. So, are you guys familiar with him, and what do you think of this casting?
Yeah, I think he's a pretty cool guy. I'm aware of a lot of the stuff he's done in the past. And I think we're already all looking forward to the second Sonic movie, right? But I think he's going to do a good job, to be honest. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Knuckles works as a character in that movie, and I think Idris Elba, he'll probably do a good job. I'm not too worried about that one.
What are you thinking there, Karl? I know you're a huge Sonic fan, obviously. You're well known for that.
I liked him when he was in 4. He did a really good job. I'm just not too familiar with the character of Knuckles because I tend to avoid Sonic games.
Fair play. And that is one thing that is interesting about it, I thought, was Idris Elba. He's known for playing these sort of more, I guess, sophisticated roles or characters of some sort of royalty or upper class or whatever. And Knuckles, he's just a massive meathead, really. You know, he's
yes.
There are early rumours of like Jason Momoa playing Knuckles. Jason Momoa, of course, played Aquaman, so that would fit perfectly. And so this is a really interesting casting, at least. But he's a good actor, so don't doubt he can pull it off. I'm just fascinated to see the movie. But Karl, even, did you see the first movie out of curiosity?
I haven't, no. I think the last video game film I saw was actually Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva, but the last one in cinemas was Detective Pikachu.
Right, yeah. That was a good film, so... So we'll have to see how the Sonic movie 2 turns out, but if you ever get a chance, Karl, the first one's quite fun.
Yeah. I shall have to watch it at some point.
Add it to the list. Yeah. There's always a long list.
Yes, after I get through my gaming backlog.
Well, don't even get me started. It's too much. Speaking of gaming backlogs, there's always new games being announced, and part of that we had a Nintendo Indie World presentation announcing a slew of different indie games. And I'm guessing both you guys watched this. What did you think of the indie presentation?
Karl, do you want to go first?
I can't actually remember many of the games that were announced in the indie presentation.
That's fair, honestly.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm the same. I'm hoping you remember something, Kai.
I do.
Yes.
Overall, I think, there was nothing there, based on the fact that we don't remember much, is that there was nothing that was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever or whatever, but it's an indie direct, I don't know what you expect. However, yeah, there were a couple of good things. There was a new Shovel Knight thing, like Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. I'm not the most informed on Shovel Knight, but it was like a Tetris sort of puzzle type looking thing. That seemed kind of interesting, you know. I feel like fans of the Shovel Knight series will be enjoying that one, especially since, to my memory, they mentioned having amiibo compatibility as well, so yeah. I
believe so, yeah. I do have the Shovel Knight amiibo sitting in front of me, so...
There you go, so you know, that might be good. Outside of that, there was a couple of other games that were interesting. One personally that I liked the look of most was Islanders, which was sort of a chill game where you build, like, you make buildings on an island and you get points if you put the right buildings together, that sort of thing. Just like a really relaxing game. You had Gang Beasts near the end, which, you know, is famed for being a lot of fun. Who knows? I'll have to look into that one, because that does seem like genuinely quite a laugh.
It was one of those indie directs where I enjoyed it the whole way through. There was no lulls. They didn't take too long on any game. You know, it wasn't like a Gamescom. So they had a good pace to all of it, and there was nothing huge like, you know, Cadence of Hyrule or Cuphead levels. Everything looked good, and it's one of those things where, I mean, A Short Hike was in one of these indie sort of showcases. I didn't think much of it at the time. I just thought that looks cool. It wasn't until like afterwards, when the reviews started coming out, that I really wanted to like go and try it, and I ended up loving it. So I think really it's just going to be a wait and see till a lot of these games come out and see what the reactions are like from fans, and I might find myself getting stuck into them. But everything looked really consistently enjoyable.
I think the one game there that definitely drew the most attention was Tetris Effect Connected. I noticed that's a very... It is one that I don't really know anything about, but from what I've seen, apparently it's like a really popular game, it's really highly rated, all of that sort of thing. It's odd considering you've already got Tetris 99 for free on there, so I'm interested to see, like, you know, what about Tetris Effect Connected, outside of its cool aesthetic, is worth it.
I believe the whole thing is how it's sort of tied to the music, and it's apparently quite an immersive experience playing it as you connect things and the music progresses. So I think even you can, not on the Switch, unless they bring in Labo, but you can play it in VR and other places, and apparently that's really immersive.
That's cool.
So
yeah, I've seen that was like the big thing people were talking about overall.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, Karl, are there any particular indie games that you'd like to see come to the Switch, or you'd like to see in a presentation?
Honestly, I don't play many. Well, speaking of indie games that have been announced for Switch, Dark Deity. Of
course!
Dark Deity's been announced for Switch recently. So,
it's a good. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about it until you just mentioned it.
It's not Fire Emblem. That's what it is.
Yeah.
I enjoyed watching your streams of it when you did it, so keep an eye on.
Yeah,
I'll have to restart. I'll have to restart the streams when it comes out on Twitch just to get into popularity and get back into the surge of popularity.
Fair enough.
Got to ride the hype while it's there. You know how it goes.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was basically everything from the Nindies Direct. So the only other thing to note is that the music is always so consistently good in the Nindies now. You know, like Metal Slug Tactics and Eastward were two of the big ones for me there. Just like the music was, oh god, it was so good.
Yeah, for sure. For Osho. This one, I think Karl in particular will have a lot more to say on, because we got another direct, or another presentation. This time a Pokemon Presents, where they showed us more on Brilliant Diamonds and Shining Pearl, which is coming out November, very soon, and Legends Arceus. Is it Arceus or Arceus?
Don't ask that question. You'll get a 50-50 answer split.
Yeah, I think they pronounced it Arceus in one of the UK films, but it was changed. But then they stopped. It was pronounced Arceus in one form, but then they were like, "Oh, it sounds like arse." So they.
I think we annoy like 98% of fans and just call him like Arceus instead, Arceus, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're calling you now Vaskurian or something, aren't we now?
Curious,
Yeah.
yeah,
Your
that's
name.
what...
But yes, Legends Arceus, that way sounds better to me, is coming out in January, so also not too long after. Wait, was it February?
I want to say
January, I
February.
believe.
wanted to say February.
Should have wrote this down. It's early next
I'll
year.
have a
We
look.
have a release date. But yeah, that's two big things, and let's break it down. So we're going to start things off with
It's late
Brilliant Diamonds.
January.
There we go. Thanks, Kai. Karl, what do you think of what they showed? Brilliant Diamonds and Shining Pearl.
When they first released the trailers, I was a bit apprehensive because of how similar it worked. But this recent trailer, they've kept basically everything from the original, from what we've seen. There was a couple of things they obviously won't be able to put in, like the game corner, because gambling's 18 plus in games now, and they wouldn't want to go for that rating. But actually, I don't know if it is 18 plus, but it's definitely above the rating.
Think not.
It's definitely above the rating that they want to get, and they will have to remove the chatter feature, but that's been removed since 2012 anyway. So,
Right.
But if you don't know, Matt, the chatter thing is that the wait, which one are you referring to, Karl? I just want to make sure we're on the same track.
the Pokemon Chatot had a move
Right,
called
yeah.
Chatter. If on
Just
the
making sure we're on the same
yeah.
page.
In the original Pokemon Diamond, Pearl and Platinum, and I think Black and White had it as well, you could use the DS microphone to say a phrase into it, and it would do, depending on how wild it was, it would have an additional chance of confusing, and it would use that move. It would use your recording as the move's noise when it attacked. So
cool idea, but
yeah. So you could put a swear word in and just have your Pokemon swearing at the enemy.
Yeah.
You could also have your Pokemon playing KJ Gaming, so
Yes.
win-win scenario. I think. Ultimately.
Yeah.
I can see why that's removed.
Yeah, I think it
was too
I think
broken
it was,
because saying KJ Gaming would just be 100% confusion.
yeah. I think it was removed in Gen 6, was it? X and Y.
I believe that was either it was around Gen 6.
Yeah.
I actually did play Diamond and Pearl. They were my first Pokemon. Well, I played Diamond. That was my first Pokemon game. Be it a few years after it released, I borrowed it from a friend, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time. So these remakes, from what they showed, it definitely looks like an improvement, like you said, from the early trailer. They kept the pace. The things like the fashion show or whatever it was that was happening. The underground looks way more complex and interesting. They really made it look like, that it may not be the way some people wanted it to look more like the modern Pokemon games, where they're definitely keeping it more traditional with the sort of chibi art style in the overworld. But you've got things like Pokemon following you and these cool additions. It's clear that, love has been put into this game, and it looks quite a bit of fun.
Yeah,
I know people at first were a bit concerned, like, oh, they're going to get rid of all the features and it's just going to be like the exact same thing but with the new art style that some people don't even like. But yeah, it seems like they've, especially in battles, they've changed the art style a little bit, like they've seemed to have updated it. They've polished it to an extent, so that's quite good. I think people were reassured to see a lot of the old features come back, like you say, like the contests, the Grand Underground, which I know a lot of people like, the Union Rooms even, where that's where you can play like multiplayer and stuff, I believe. And then the improvements on top of that, like the Pokemon following you, like you say, and even the remix soundtrack, like we got to see a bit of the Galactic Themes remix soundtrack in the direct.
That sounded great, yeah.
I think overall, like, people were a bit unsure because they were like, well, it's a Pokemon remake, it's probably going to be very low effort with everything missing. But no, they seem to actually have quite a lot of it there, which is good to see. I do have one gripe with the trailer, though, I've got to say. Why? I don't know who made the trailer itself, but for like half of it, they just have these suspenseful zoom-ins on the text boxes, and I don't get it. Like, it's not suspenseful. Why are you zooming in on text boxes in like these different angles the whole time? I don't get it.
Enhanced and zoom.
I was
That
losing
in
my
Arts and
mind.
Zoom.
I was like,
After
why are
the,
you showing off the text boxes so much?
After those like
Crazy.
Final Fantasy remasters on Switch like ruined the font, they're just like, look, we can get font correctly, it's fine. They just wanted to emphasise that the font's okay.
It was just
On its face.
so insane, like why they were showing off text boxes so much.
I do have to ask though, the of course important question: Diamond or Pearl?
Oh, if I were to choose one, I'd say Diamond. I'm still 50-50 on actually picking it up. So.
All my friends who have picked it up said Diamond, and I had Diamond last time, so I'm probably going to go Pearl this time.
That's
Fair
fair.
point. Got to balance it out. I would stick with Diamond as is what I knew, but in whether or not I'll get it will depend on. Oh god, there's so many games coming out, but
Yeah, well, it's got a Dragon Steel type as the legendary that isn't just like a cheese grater. Or something like that.
A cigarette whiter.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Also,
it's already on it already.
Also 3D Palkia looks so much better than the back sprite for Pokemon Diamond. In Diamond,
Yeah.
it doesn't look appropriate.
Yeah, that's true.
I do know that story. Oh god. Of course, that was not the only Pokemon game they showed off. They showed off Pokemon Unite. Now we're not talking about that. They showed off Pokemon Legends Arceus and gave us a much better look at it. And you know, it is a seemingly open world Pokemon game where you go out, explore, and just catch as many as you can in a more ancient setting. Karl, what did you think of how much was changed from the first time you saw it?
I really like how open it feels and works, and
Yeah.
it just seems a lot more polished than it did to start with. We didn't have any one FPS. Was it Chingling?
Either a Chingling or Chimecho, I
Yeah.
can't remember which one.
I think it was Chimecho. Now I think of it.
I'm not one to, you know, back when people were complaining about the trees in Sword and Shield, that didn't really bother me. But that 1 frame per second movement, I was like, even me, I was like, that's gotta be fixed, right? And sure enough, it definitely has been.
Yeah. Overall, the trailer looks pretty good though. I think, yeah, as Karl says, everything does look quite nice in how open it is. Something to me, I don't know why, but something about all the landscapes feels slightly off to me still. But I don't know exactly what it is that feels off, so I'm not really gonna like complain about it much. But I don't, something feels off, but I can't tell what it is. Maybe it's just because it's weird to see Pokemon like that.
What?
Yeah, I think it's especially, you know, it even though they've improved the frame rate significantly, it seems, and stuff like that, it's still no complete visual showcase. It's not going to compete with Breath of the Wild or Xenoblade in regards to open spaces and the environments it creates on any scheme. It looks at least decent enough to be fun and interesting for Pokemon for the first time. And I think the thing that sold me most on it from the trailer, the thing from the trailer that made me most think, okay, that's really cool, was riding the Pokemon.
Yeah.
When that was both flying and through the water. That looked like a lot of fun.
Yeah. That's it's actually been a feature in the main games, like somewhat, to ride Pokemon. The earliest I can remember is like a Rhyhorn in Gen 6.
Yeah.
But it's cool that I mean that was like a very limited thing, so it's cool that this seems like a more sort of, you can genuinely explore the whole world, even to a more sort of distinct aspects than the Latios and Latias in Oras, where you could fly above the world. So yeah, the fact that you can ride the Pokemon, really good, really cool.
What do we think of the changes to the battle system? Pokemon can attack multiple times in a row, depending on speed. It's similar but different to the main games in an interesting manner.
Yeah, I'm curious. I think I'm not. I need to think more about it, I think, overall, but it's one of those things that could be like a really cool feature. You know, I do like when they mix up the turn order in battle and that sort of thing in that way. It could flop completely though, because it's like too straightforward of just keep going agile mode until you can one-shot it in strong mode. So it depends if there's going to be more quirks to the battle than just that or not. But I think it could be a really good variation. Yeah.
I think it has potential, but I hope the going multiple times per turn doesn't end up like How to Train You, like one of the bosses in How to Train Your Dragon for the Nintendo DS, one of the way to game bosses could attack twice per turn, and had basically one shot even the toughest dragons with full grade armor. So it's I still haven't beaten that boss to this day, and I've had the game for 12 years.
You know what, Karl? Maybe that's your next dream game. After all these years, you can come back to it and conquer your fears.
I shall conquer all the fears.
But yeah, that definitely looks interesting, and of course, it's coming out early next year, so we'll have to see how that goes. I think a demo would do this game well to sort of sell people on the new mechanics.
Yeah, I think people are quite sold on the Pokemon though. I'll say the new ones.
Oh
yeah, I forgot to mention those.
What's the region? Yeah. What's the? I can't remember what the region's called.
Hisuian, isn't it?
Hisuian
or something.
Like, I do wonder what this means for the future of those Pokemon in particular, because
because of the chronology.
They're not in current day Sinnoh, and if I remember correctly, on the box art of Pokemon Legends Arceus, you can see like the spear pillar and it's where it's not destroyed on Mount Coronet. And from present day we know it is destroyed. So I'm curious.
The Poke lore.
I'm curious to see what happens with that in the course of the story.
Yeah, maybe they just got extinct or something.
Yeah.
But we saw Weirdeer, which is like an evolution of Stantler. Bascu Legion, probably the favourite from what I've seen of a lot of things, which is the new evolution of Basculin. Hisuian Braviary, and then Hisuian Growlithe. People like Hisuian Growlithe because he's a good boy.
Yeah.
But I think Bascu Legion was definitely the one where people were like, this is a really cool new addition to a Pokemon that was basically useless before.
Isn't that the one that consumes the souls of the other ones who died upstream or something?
Yes.
Damn Pokemon.
I mean, Pokedex entries are always hardcore.
Yeah. They have a history.
I think it's called Wampent. It's either Wampent or Chandra. It waits outside hospitals for old people to die so it can steal their souls.
Yeah, there's a lot of ghost type Pokemon that are like that.
It's just casually chilling outside the hospital waiting for people to die.
That's how they be.
There's only one thing more horrifying than all of that, and that was Gamescom and the Future Games Show. So let's go over and start talking about those. But now, before we get to any specifics of what was shown, first up, and I think I know the answer here, what did you guys think of the overall presentation?
Well, let me tell you my top 1 favourite parts of the presentation. The candidates are the random top game of the year thing for games that haven't been released, and the pretty cool, the violin performance. And the winner is the violin performance, because everything else was a waste of time. Yay!
Competition was tough there. I didn't know who was going to win there.
Oh no.
Oh, what a mess. It was. What did you think, Karl? Did you watch it with us?
I did watch it. The presentation was just awful.
It was. I feel like we've come to expect this pacing and that from Keighley's stuff like the Game Awards, and he gets some good stuff together. I think he's a good personality, but he does not know pacing by any means.
So much waffle. So much waffle.
There was a cute cat in the pre-show.
That was probably the best part, the most exciting part.
It really was just a slug to get through. I mean, I enjoyed it because we were all talking in Discord and we got to just roast it together, and that was quite enjoyable. They really don't get, you don't know who the audience is meant to be, because you get one interesting thing or two interesting things for you in a long presentation. They'll mention something cool for 30 seconds and then spend 10 minutes on bloody Call of Duty. It's just a mess. But
I think half the viewers were there for Genshin, because they announced new Genshin stuff, and then they showed 5 seconds of they showed nothing new and just 5 seconds of a cutscene introduction or something, and that was what half the viewers were there for. No one wanted to see 20 minutes of Vanguard gameplay. No one cares about that. Oh.
That's on the right side. There were a few highlights from it, and thankfully, that's what we're here for, to break down the highlights of it, so you don't have to watch it. Because if you didn't watch it, you don't need to. And let's start things off with something I think we're all going to appreciate here. Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga got a new trailer.
Yeah.
And sadly a delay, so it's coming out spring 2022 now. But, I mean, it looks damn good, so I don't know about you guys, I was impressed.
Yeah,
it looks really
does
clean.
Look good. I'll probably pick it up. I'll probably pick it up. Well, even more so now. I was going to try it again anyway.
Yeah, I've had my eye on it for ages. They sort of keep teasing us, like, hey, it's coming out October 2020, spring 2021. So I am half expecting it to be pushed back to spring 2025 eventually. But assuming it comes out, it looks like just mixing all of the best things from Star Wars together. Being able to explore the different planets. You get to play as Yaddle. I mean, do I need to say any more? That's
Yaddle is best waifu.
Oh.
Yes.
Do you want to bonk him or should I?
You may do the bonking.
Bonk.
That one's being quoted. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. It looks really fun, and I mean the game itself, even visually, looks really nice as well. Like the level of attention to detail and all the character models and the environments. You know that we're huge Star Wars fans, particularly me and Karl, but I know even you, Kai, you enjoy your Lego Star Wars, you said, so...
Yeah, I thought it looked really clean, like, from what I remember of the original Lego Star Wars stuff. It just looked, like, again, just clean. There's nothing else to say about it, really.
I do.
My only... Oh, go on, Karl.
I do hope I enjoy it more than I did The Force Awakens, because I really struggled to get into it, and I didn't get very far because I just really didn't really like the style of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
It's interesting because there's of course a big difference between sort of classic Lego and modern Lego, and some people prefer one or the other. But this one it doesn't even seem like the modern Lego games. It seems a new evolution of what Lego games could be, how open it is, and we still know very little about the specific details of it. They haven't shown off like a proper gameplay section. It's just very heavily edited trailers. So
yeah,
time will tell how well that new evolution ends up playing. But I'm definitely excited to find out, and I have hope that Lego Kanan, my favourite Star Wars character, will be in there because we saw his speeder bike in the trailer. So
oh, okay.
Yeah,
something to go off of.
I wonder if we have some sort of like Rebels content base game, or if it will be DLC. But I don't think they'd put it in the main trailer if it was going to be DLC. Wait.
We already know what the DLC packs are going to be, unless it's changed because it's been delayed so much. But they announced that the DLC packs we're getting are 2 Mandalorian packs, a Bad Batch pack, classic characters pack of like the original Lego minifigures, and Solo and Rogue One packs.
I've
there's
forgotten about that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of DLC coming, and we don't know. That's no Clone Wars and no Rebels, so we don't know if they're going to be in the base game or not. But seeing Kanan Spike gives me a bit of hope, so we'll have to see. Either that, or we get young Caleb from Bad Batch, and I'll have to settle for that. But
yeah, he as long as young Caleb just has the same voice, just add adult Freddie Prinze Jr. So,
yeah, 12-year-old of like a 40-year-old voices.
Yeah,
it was something special.
Wait,
but yeah, that would be good fun.
Hera's voice actress was the same as well, but Hera's voice actor sort of sounded like younger Hera should be.
I think it's easier for a woman generally to do kids' voices than it is for men.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But, I mean, the next big thing we got, well, you two will have to say about this, but we got an update on Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. And which of course is the game, forget Smash, forget DLC 5, everyone's talking about All-Star Brawl. And coming to the game are CatDog from CatDog and April from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not particularly familiar with either series, so none of these were like, oh my god, they're adding Squidward they're adding Squilly and Fancy Son to the game, which would be, of course, the most hype thing you could do. But still interesting picks. And how interested are you two in this game, out of curiosity?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really, like, maybe it's just because I didn't watch much Nickelodeon growing up, but I'm not a fan of the whole, like, hype around, oh, this is gonna beat out Smash and it's gonna be amazing. I don't know, I feel like people are hyping it up for a bit of a laugh, and then most of the people who have been hyping it up for a laugh are actually getting too serious about it. I'm really not that fussed, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'm in the similar boat to Kai. We didn't get much Nickelodeon stuff on Freeview, so it was like, I didn't really grow up with it.
I have slight hope in this. I have mild. Of course, I've very much learned to expect terrible things from, like, the Nickelodeon kart racers. But I do think that this game is being developed by a studio who made a previous fighting game, which is apparently really good and quite different to Smash. They actually showed off SpongeBob's moveset recently, and they have, like, aerial smash attacks you can do, for example, or the equivalent of that. So it seems to be more of its own thing. So I'm interested to see how that will turn out. If they just, like I said, if they give me Squilly and Fancy Son or KelPG in the game, then it's an
KelPG would be amazing. Maybe as an assist trophy, who knows?
At least need his music in the game, If they want to rival Smash's soundtrack, that's the way to do it.
Well, it looks...
you know what it could be? It could be like, if there's an all-star mode, you put it as the rest area theme. It'd fit perfectly, KelPG's music.
There we go. Exactly.
Well, as long as it turns out better than the fad of making karting games based off TV shows that they had.
That's great. What are you saying?
Like Madagascar Kart. It's like,
that's a thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, I used to play as Gloria sometimes. So
you're Gloria main. You're one of those people.
Like, it was just it was a unique game.
Melvin's S tier. I don't know what he's saying.
I always saw you as a King Julian main, Kai. Sorry.
King Julian. He's the one I use in competitive, but I don't like to use him too often.
I'm pretty sure both of them are in the game.
Forget what we said earlier. That's the next stream game, Karl.
No, that's Garfield. Next stream is Garfield Kart.
Let's go.
Garf Kart 2.
Now, let's go from something that only I really have much to say about to something Karl's going to have the most to say about by far, because we're at the Halo section of the podcast.
Yeah. Oh,
and of course, one of the biggest things we got was at Gamescom, Halo Infinite was announced to be releasing December 8th, but not with all the features, not with campaign co-op and some other features. So, Karl, do you want to start us off with Halo Infinite? Yeah. What do you think with what we've heard about that in the past month?
The multiplayer trailer we've had in the past month, I liked the concept of it, but I did feel it used assets wrong. Like, it's got a lot of inconsistencies war-wise. Like, the ship at the start of the trailer was a Type 57 Phantom, which is a ship discovered like 4 years after the trailer takes place. And as there were witnesses in there, they shouldn't know it exists. It was first discovered 5 years after this, so they wouldn't know it exists. No eyewitnesses, so they can see it. And the armor the Spartans are wearing in the trailer is either a prototype that we haven't seen before, or it's armor from the future that they shouldn't have yet. And
they went for what looks cool rather than
they went for what looks cool and what assets they had. I think it would be basically the equivalent of using First Order Stormtroopers as Clone Troopers in the Clone Wars. To make a Star Wars comparison.
People threw a huge fit about it.
Yeah.
But I do like the concept of having a survivor from the Covenant Wars be a Spartan 4 commander, like they showed off in the trailer. that child and that woman were both the same. Well, that was intended. That's obvious.
Yeah. What do you think of the of course, the fact that it's not going to be releasing with co-op campaign?
Yeah.
Because I know that's one of your favourite ways to play it through.
Yeah, I'm not happy about that, and I feel it could have been. I feel it should have been delayed to include it, but I'm not. I say should. I'm not going to say could because Microsoft obviously wanted a winter this year delay for Christmas because it's already been.
They already missed out on the launch of the Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it was meant to come out last year, I think it was. Yeah, because I think it had a year's worth of delays on it. Yeah, it had a year's worth of delay on it, so I feel they needed to launch it now because otherwise they wouldn't really have a ideal holiday to sell it at. But I do feel co-op campaign not being there at launch is a bit weird. And they're also missing Forge mode, which was the other feature you mentioned. Forge mode started off as a level editor. You could take multiplayer maps and add your own features to them, but eventually in Halo 5 it became like a level builder, so you could build completely your own geometry. It was really in depth from what I've seen, but I haven't played Halo 5 Forge myself because I haven't got Halo 5. But honestly, if Halo Infinite's Forge is like Halo 5's Forge, it will be worth the delay. But the co-op campaign not being in is a bit annoying for me.
Of course, you've got the main multiplayer. What do you? Because I am not a Halo knowledgeable person at all. I only know what I've seen you play, and I played once when I was like 13 at a friend's place. So we're going. I don't even know which one it was. It was way back. But we've seen some more in the multiplayer gameplay. I know there was like a beta or something, or an alpha, or some people got to play it anyway.
Yeah.
And it looked really interesting. But what do you think of the core gameplay of it? Do you think that looks a big improvement?
Yeah. It does. It looks a big improvement from what I've played in 4. I've heard Halo 5's multiplayer is good. It was only the story that was bad in Halo 5. But from 4's multiplayer, the maps basically all looked like pancakes. They weren't good maps in Halo 4, and some of the weapons were just much better than others, so there wasn't any point in using other ones. But in this one looks really good. They're
getting the balance right. That's the important part.
It will feel weird that they're no longer using team colours because they've used team colours for every Halo game since the beginning. This one that you can, where it's a free-to-play game with battle passes, you can use your own skins and armour in every battle. Which I think the team colour is highlighted on the outside of characters, if I recall.
A bit like sort of the Smash system where you can change. You used to have to play as like the Reds if you're on red team, but now you just sort of have like a red outline or something.
Yeah, and the grappling hook in the game looks really good. That
looks fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can grab weapons with it. So if someone's running to it, you can just grapple it and steal it from them before they get to it, and then kill them. It's got some really good, and it allows for some mobility options. So I'm pretty sure you can grab onto most things as long as they let you. Of course you can.
Yeah, fingers crossed it'll be successful when it launches. I know people are, despite the fact it's not launching with everything, I know people are still excited for to try it, to finally play it, because like you said, it's been delayed an entire year. So
yeah.
So I don't own an Xbox or a PC well enough to play it myself. Definitely looks fascinating, so I'll be really interested to see how well it's received in the end. But of course, it's not the only Halo. You said there's been some news on the Master Chief Collection, right?
Yes. The Halo Master Chief Collection Season 8 Mythic has been announced to go into beta testing. New features are being added to it. Halo ODST is getting new options for the Firefight mode, which is like a horde mode. So you face it, and you can choose what waves are going to come, which weren't in the original. They were in Halo Reach, the game that came after ODST, but they weren't in the original Halo ODST Firefight. So you can choose what options there are. And also, there was a picture released on Twitter that showed some flood forms in the ODST firefight, and that wasn't in the original. So we're thinking they're adding the flood to Halo ODST's firefight.
Okay, how would that affect gameplay?
The flood are a very different type of enemy. There's combat flood forms. You usually have to like punch them after they die, otherwise they come back to life. There's infection forms will revive dead enemies, and there's pure forms which are like they can morph, change various forms. Heavy forms. It's basically it's like a zombie horde mode with flood instead of the flood are very much zombie-like and will charge at you instead of just being like generic in like the normal enemies, which are more they use strategy. Like if you throw a grenade at a flood, it'll just tank it or blow up. If you throw one at an enemy, they dodge it, for example.
So basically, it's like how I play first-person shooters. So I just try to tank things.
Yes.
I'm like, I could try and skillfully avoid it.
Yeah.
Just gonna run into things and hope for the best.
Yeah. The AI in Halo games are really good. Well, for the enemies, the allies, it depends. Like allied drivers just don't in the original Halo games most of the time. They drive you off a cliff, but they won't drive you anywhere else. They're good
because obviously
they're good at
so I was
flying.
Say, Halo Infinite, you're not going to be able to get it at launch, did you say?
Yeah, I currently don't have an Xbox I currently don't have an Xbox Series X or S, and my PC hasn't got the high enough specs for it. So I'll be waiting after launch to get it anyway, unless by some miracle I get a job and much money before it comes out, which is possible.
Yeah, but you never know. You gotta dream big. I tell you what, this video, if this makes like millions of pounds off this, because of course we have KJ Gaming on here, so it's just gonna be our most successful video.
Yes.
You'll get a lot of the money from it, Karl, and we will get you your Xbox.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
More MCC news is Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 3 are to get custom games browsers, which will allow people to find their own custom games easier. Before you would have to go on external websites and find a website that allowed you to join a custom game, but they're both being implemented. Halo 3 will include new armor based on mythical stuff. So you have armor sets based on Spartans, the Greek Spartans, armor based on Norse mythology such as Awoki and Forset, and it's got a bunch of different mythological references in it, which is really interesting. And
could that see? Sorry, go on. What were you saying?
And there's new armor, new visors, new back accessories, and weapon and vehicle skins being
it's
added.
Good to see that they're still adding stuff to Master Chief Collection, because I guess like you, not everyone is able to get Infinite because of the specs requirement.
Yeah, I really enjoy how they've been keeping updating MCC. Halo,
they're keeping both games going.
Yeah, Halo Reach is also getting the helmet. The news says helmets based on Mythic, so I'm not sure if they'll include the armor or not, but they've said the helmets will be in. And another interesting change is Halo CE according to the information, Halo CE and free weapon skins and vehicle skins will be allowed in campaign. So you'll be able to customize Master Chief's weapons in game. And something they said that added new collectibles in Halo 3's campaign, which I'm not sure what they are, because they had skulls and terminals. Matt will know the terminals because he voice acted for all the terminals in Halo 3 on my stream.
Some of my finest work, if I do say so myself.
And the final bit of news for the Halo Master Chief Collection is Halo 3 is getting a new map called Icebox, which is a remake of a Halo 2 map called Turf, I believe it is, which is an icy city map. and it was originally in the cancelled Halo multiplayer game Halo Online.
That's good. I didn't know they were still adding new maps and that, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
What, Halo 3 released in 2007, I want to say. So the fact that it's still getting maps for 14 years later is really good.
Yeah, I know. Kai, I'm guessing you don't have much familiarity with Halo. I'm going to assume.
I was just thinking about if they made a Halo game that was like a 2D puzzle type thing, and they called it Hey Low, like Hey exclamation mark Yo. Low. Just it's like a rip off of Hey Pikmin.
I mean, playing. I mean, they could make a game like that, but with Spartans instead of Pikmin.
There's going to be a Halo DS game at one point, wasn't there? Maybe that's what it secretly was. So. Coming together now.
Ideas, people, ideas.
Yeah. I mean, we've had real-time strategy Halo. Why not puzzle Halo?
Yeah.
Punch out. But yeah, so that is your Halo update with Karl, and it's definitely a lot. I didn't realise they were still adding so much to the Master Chief Collection. And even if you can't get it, and you're disappointed by the lack of co-op there in the campaign Chief Collection, you can do enough there. So
yeah, and those are my condensed notes.
Oh god, the 3-hour version. Patreon soon.
I will say though, I have a couple notes on Legends Arceus still that I could share. They're very minor things, just like little secrets. I remember I made some notes on this part, and then I forgot to open them up, so I've opened them up now.
Secret stash.
Yeah, so I was just looking at I've just got something saying the music that we heard was good. Story seems like it'll be okay, links to Team Galactic. The appearance of the game is good with you see some ruins in places, Jubilife Village. But one of the main little secrets was that well, not really a secret, we got to see the map of the region, which some people might find interesting. For example, we can see that there's a huge snow region to the northwest, because of course Sinnoh's a snowy region. There's a huge peninsula to the northeast, which I believe you've probably seen a couple times in the trailers. Outside of that, I just basically said that there's an interesting crafting system. I wonder how that's going to work. And one of my favourite things is how, with the wild Pokemon, they have different quirks, they react differently when you walk near them. So some will fly away, some will attack you, that sort of thing. Overall, I just note it down. There's all these little cool secrets they put in, and these little features, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they all come together, because it might end up being Breath of the Wild-ish, where there's all these little secrets that you can find as you're playing through the game that you might not know about. So overall, really cool stuff.
Doof. That's all it needs.
Yes.
Bidoof is already there. Yeah, we've seen that, so that's good.
Yeah.
Happy days.
Bidoof is actually Arceus in disguise.
Oh, I'd love that.
You're starting to get onto those Marvel theories of it's Mephisto in disguise now, Karl. We're getting into dangerous. But yeah, that is basically it for the news. So let's we've been going for a while, so let's hurry on to our final segment of the podcast, Games Time, baby, where we talk about the different games we've been playing. And I'm going to start things off here with quite a quick one, because I've been playing earlier this month. I was playing Skyward Sword HD, and you know that I love this game. I talked about how much I wanted it remade in the early podcast days. You saw me freak out when it was announced in our direct reaction. So this was a game I was really hyped for, because I enjoyed Skyward Sword, and it's Skyward Sword but improved. The visuals are already nice, they look even better on the Switch. The music and the gameplay, the incredible dungeon design and boss fights, which is something that was missing in Breath of the Wild, is all there and still amazing. The story's fantastic. Groose looks better than ever, and his hair is always fantastic.
He always looks great.
And
he really does.
That really should just be called The Legend of Groose, so I'd buy that in a heartbeat. Yeah, it's just a really solid port of the game, and of course they tidied up things, so a lot of the tutorials and stuff go a lot quicker. So it's really just in general a more polished experience. And if you didn't like the motion controls, which I personally stuck with because I quite enjoyed how they functioned, but I did try out the button controls, and they're actually quite serviceable. They work better than I would have expected them to. So if you can't get to grips with the way the motion works, it's a good that you'll be able to play this game for the first time in that way. So whilst I can see sort of the debate of it probably should have been a little bit cheaper, I got it for 40 quid, so it wasn't too bad. But all in all, just being able to play this fantastic game in a better way was great. So I definitely recommend it if you've never played this game, especially. Skyward Sword is fantastic, and it still is all these years later.
Hero Him HD.
Exactly.
Perfect.
The Hero Him fights are so fun, man. They're such a great character in general. I could rant for ages, but I've already talked extensively about Skyward Sword in the past. So, Karl, why don't you what is something you've been playing this past month?
I have been playing two big games this month. One of them is Nier Automata for the PlayStation.
Yep.
I beat Route A last night, and I got a couple of other endings along the way because one of them was one of the endings was I got 2 joke endings along the way because joke ending.
Really?
Yeah. Well, one joke ending I got on Route A, and one I started Route B this morning. So I got those 2 joke endings, but I really enjoyed the story of Route A, and it's just such a beautiful game, and probably one of the best looking games I've ever played because because this is coming from someone who's basically played Nintendo games all his life. and I'm not a graphics guy, but the PS4 has a lot more graphics power than the Switch does.
That's true.
Definitely makes the most of it in Nier Automata, because I have been playing it also, and I think I'm going to save my full thoughts for next month when I've beaten all of the routes, or at least the main runs. So far I've done 2 routes, and I'm on the 3rd one. And I'll just say this, Karl. You think it's good now, things get even better, so go in for a treat.
I'm looking forward to it.
The words of our good friend Oliver, just keep playing. Just keep playing. So, what did you think of the gameplay, out of curiosity? It was very action-focused, which I know is not usually your kind of game.
Yeah, I usually stick to turn-based or Xenoblade, or I can't remember what the official term for Xenoblade combat is. Wait.
Real-time strategy? Or maybe that's...
Real-time strategy is like a battlefield.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's kind of action RPG-ish, but not quite into the action, I guess. It's modern RPG, I suppose.
Xenoblade, one of the reasons I got so into Final Fantasy XIV so quickly is because the combat is basically just Xenoblade. If you've played Xenoblade 1, you understand Xenoblade. You understand Final Fantasy XIV's combat. I really enjoyed the combat, although towards the end I did put the auto chips on because I was struggling on the final boss.
It can be tough. Yeah, it can definitely kick your ass.
And the game playing itself for me is ideal, although it didn't quite. You still had to dodge, which was a bit of a problem in the last battle.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it though. Like I said, I've been playing myself, and I'll save my full thoughts for later, but it really is a great time. I'm glad I only tried it out, same as you, Karl, because you could get PlayStation Now for £1 for a month, just for a special offer.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I got the opportunity to play it. Before we move on to second games, Kai, what's something you've been playing?
Yeah, I've only got one for this month that I'm going to talk about, but it's an interesting one. It's the somewhat controversial Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighbourville. Now, this is one that was free on PS Plus, hence why I got it. I've actually put quite a lot of hours into it over these last couple of weeks. So for those who don't know, there's the Plants vs. Zombies series, everyone knows that. And then they made a spin-off series called Garden Warfare, it's like a third-person shooter type series. Strangely reminiscent of games like, your sort of Overwatch type games. but very fun. The second game in particular was really popular. Battle for Neighbourville changed a lot of things. It got rid of EA elements like pay to win, which was nice. But on the other hand, it got rid of a lot of features people really liked, such as having like character variants where they had special features. So far when I've been playing it, my opinion is very mixed. It's been very enjoyable in a lot of areas, such as like they've got like new offline sort of areas to explore where it's basically a collectathon. You've got treasure chests and golden gnomes to collect as you're fighting through common enemies. Overall, like the gameplay is very clean, it looks great. A lot of the features are very nice, however they did get rid of a lot of features from the previous game for no reason, which wasn't great. It's also crashed a lot, I will say. It probably crashes every I'd say on average every 5 hours in game it will crash. And I had an instance last time I played where it crashed literally 3 times in a row for no reason. So a lot of annoyance in a lot of areas. A lot of it's like, why would you make this? This is poor game design in this area. But overall, as an overall concept, I think it's a great game. Just, if you're going to play one of the games in the series, I'd recommend Garden Warfare 2 a lot more. But overall, frustrating at times, but very fun nonetheless.
It's good as a free game if you got it on PS Plus,
Yeah.
and you didn't
Yes,
have to.
yeah, exactly.
I did actually claim it, and I played maybe an hour of it, just the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. The atmosphere and visually it looks really nice. It's just got this sort of wacky sort of aesthetic to it, and the personality of the characters was sort of goofy. And I enjoyed it. It's just I don't have enjoy it enough to take time out of, holy shit, there's so many games, to stop and play it.
Yeah, that's fair. It's very creative, and it's just a good one to have on the side.
Did enjoy the little bit I played of it, so it's cool to hear that you're enjoying it still, so that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, I'll now go on to my second game I want to talk about. And that is, I played Uncharted 1 for the first time on stream actually. So Kai and Karl, you were both joining for some of that.
Yeah.
It was really fun. It's one of these games I've sort of been interested in for years. I know a lot of people who enjoyed it, but I didn't have a PlayStation console since the PS2. So there was no way for me to play it. And I just had to sort of just pass on it. But now I've got the opportunity. I was able to buy the collection for £7 or something a few months back, and it's just fun. It's basically, it gets taken the mick out of a lot for being a climbing simulator, and it kind of is. Let's be real. It's enjoyable in its presentation. You've got your narration, or I guess dialogue, happening from Nathan Drake, who's just a really fun personality. And his banter with the different cast members is always really entertaining. I'm not usually one for shooters, but I actually gradually got more used to the shooting mechanics in this. And by the end of it, I played it on just normal difficulty, and I was able to improve and find it a lot better. And the thing I've heard also is that the first one is apparently the worst game, and they get progressively better. So that means I've got a good time ahead of me because I own 2, 3, and 4. I'll definitely be checking those out at some point. So. Yeah, all in all, it shows its age as I don't know if it was an early, but as a PS3 game, and you can tell that the series has definitely progressed on since then. But it was still a lot of fun to play now, just from the wackiness. The jet ski section was goofy, but it was fun, and it was very fun when I got shot and Nathan Drake just ragdolled off the jet ski in a disturbing manner. It has that sort of, charm to it, so...
It was really fun to watch.
I'm glad you guys stuck around with me for it, and it was just... I think that sums it up. It's just a fun experience. It's your Indiana Jones-style adventure, and it's a fun ride, so I definitely recommend it, even if, it holds up surprisingly well. But...
It was odd.
You said you've... Here it is. But, Karl, you said you've got one more thing for us.
Yeah, and my second game that I've been playing this month, and will probably be playing for the rest of all time because Square Enix owns my soul now.
There you go.
Critically acclaimed MMO Final Fantasy XIV. And
Now, while you count people.
And more And more specifically around Reborn, because I haven't got far enough into Heaven's Sword to really talk about it. But I went into it because it's an Oliver recommendation and it had a free trial, so I thought I'd use that to get into it. And
wait, do you mean the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV?
Yes, I do.
The one that has a free trial, which includes the entirety of A Realm Reborn and the award-winning Heavensward expansion up to level 60, with no restrictions on playtime?
Yes, I do.
Alright, cool, I'll be getting my payment from Oliver later. Carry on.
Yeah, our sponsor is Oliver. But
I mean, Nier Automata and this. I mean,
yeah, I started like with the free trial, and within a week I'd bought the full version because mainly because I was fed up with queue times, but it was a really good game worth paying for. It's got really good voice acting for. I didn't expect such good voice acting in it. Although the music being a Square Enix title was always really good. Like I'm pretty sure it's illegal at Square Enix to make a not good sounding soundtrack. and it's got in Around Reborn alone you have voice actors like Blake Ritson. We all know him. Our favourite boy Elvis from Xenoblade Chronicles 1.
Big man. And
we have Tara Platt, who plays Wuxia, who I didn't know a character called Wuxia existed when I named my character. So there's so it's like this is getting out of hand now. There are two of us, and there's also Fiora's voice actress from Xenoblade 1 is a character in Heavensward. Because they changed all the voice actors from Around Reborn to Heavensward. So you have Karina Reeves as Tataru, who sounds exactly like Fiora because all of her voices sound the same.
Yeah,
like
looking at you,
later
versus Vince, right?
Yeah.
Just that's Fiora over there. That's all it is.
Yeah. It feels weird to hear Fiora's voice coming out of a Lalafell. It's like they're only like 3 to 4 foot tall, so it's like yeah. And as soon as I heard the character Blake Ritson plays, it's like I love this game. Although that occurred much earlier because of the final boss of Realm Reborn is just really really good.
Yeah, it's definitely. I've been hearing so much about this game from all you guys, and I think you can get it on consoles. I don't know if it's as good there. It's definitely one that I have a slight interest in. I just know that the same reason I haven't got into Genshin. I'm not usually one for games that keep on going eternally. I get bored of games too quickly, or I don't like spending too long on the same thing. So I'm not sure it's something I would get into, but every time you guys talk about it, it makes me want to try it out. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So
I stick with games of what, as evidenced by my 1,020 hours in Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Well, yeah, we were going to save Karl for a Fire Emblem discussion, but they never announced something. Watch them announce it next week now. But
oh man, I love when they announced Genealogy of the Holy War earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey! We got a remake. We've got a remake of a Dead series with Fire Emblem Advance Wars. But
yeah, exactly.
So.
Wait, why did I say Fire Emblem Advance Wars?
Yeah,
Advance Wars. Yes, Fire Emblem is on my brain.
Consumed you.
What else was I going to say about Final Fantasy XIV? If I recall correctly, the next expansion is meant to be the end to the current storyline, and there's going to be a new one afterwards. But I'm not sure on that, so don't quote me on that.
We're going to quote you on it, don't worry. We definitely are now.
But if the story continues being as good as it is, I have no problems with it. Because as Oliver says, it only gets better after Realm Reborn, and I really enjoyed Realm Reborn, so.
This is your life now, Karl.
Yes, my soul will belong to Square Enix, and you and Yoshi P.
Of course. But that does about bring us to the end of the podcast. Quite a lengthy one this time, but you know what? We can't have Karl without Halo lore, so it had to happen. And yeah, so that has been I hope you guys have enjoyed this. It's been a lot of fun talking with you, Karl. So thank you so much for joining us, Karl.
Thank you for having me.
And would you like to tell people where they can find you at?
You can find me on Twitch TV at Wox Miles. I think Wox_Miles, and I stream on Sundays and Mondays, and sometimes Tuesdays.
We'll of course have links to that in the description below, so you can find that as well as timestamps if you want to hop out different sections. Forgot to mention that up front. But yeah, so definitely go check Karl's out. It was a good fun time. And Kai, where can people find you at?
Also Twitch TV /Fascarine. I'm playing through Great Ace Attorney as one of my games, but the one that's probably more notable to some of our viewers is we're currently in the process of playing Trine 2 on some of my Saturday streams. So if you were curious about that at all, if anyone was, you can go and watch the VODs on that, and I'll also be streaming in when this releases, I think 2 weeks time on a Saturday or something like that. So yeah, if you're interested in the Trine stuff, keep a lookout for that.
Yeah, that features me and Tom, Be More Duck, who was formerly a guest on the show. So more of that banter, that's the place to check it out. Yeah, that is the end now. So of course, thank you so much for watching, and you can stay tuned to our channel for more regular monthly podcasts. Of course, if there is a direct, we'll be the first to react to it. Well, not the first.
We'll be the first. We're gonna make sure we do that. Change our time zone.
Just going to destroy the competition.
Yeah.
They can't beat us if there's no competition. So for themselves. But we'll be doing extra different discussions as well, and maybe more gameplay videos in the future. For that, and we'll just catch you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.